Many IELTS students believe that memorizing lots of vocabulary is the secret to a high score. They spend hours with word lists, hoping big words will impress the examiner. But imagine building a house with only fancy decorations and no strong walls. Without a solid foundation, the house falls apart. In English, grammar is that foundation. For example, if you say, "Yesterday I go to the market," the meaning is confusing. But if you say, "Yesterday I went to the market," it's clear and correct. Grammar helps your words make sense. Many students try to memorize long lists of words but still struggle to make correct sentences. For example, someone might say, "She have a book." That's incorrect. The correct sentence is, "She has a book." Using impressive words won't help if your grammar is wrong. For instance, "He quickly run to school" sounds impressive, but it should be, "He quickly runs to school." Grammar mistakes can make your meaning unclear. Vocabulary is important, but it's only one piece of the puzzle. Grammar connects your words and makes your ideas clear. For example, "I enjoy read books" is confusing, but "I enjoy reading books" is correct. Think of grammar as the skeleton of your English. It holds everything together and gives your language structure. For example, "They is happy" is incorrect, but "they are happy" is correct. Without good grammar, even the best vocabulary can turn into a jumbled mess. For example, "She going school every day." This sentence is confusing, but "she goes to school every day" is clear and correct. Examiners don't just listen for big words. They want to see if you can communicate your ideas clearly and accurately. For example, "I will finish my homework" is incorrect. The correct way is, "I will finish my homework." This is where grammar becomes your secret weapon for IELTS success. It helps you express your ideas so the examiner understands you easily. Think of grammar like the rules of a game. If you don't know the rules, you can't play well or win. For example, "He play football every day" is incorrect. The correct sentence is, "He plays football every day." You might know lots of words, but if you don't use them in the right order, your meaning gets lost. For example, "Book I read" is confusing, but "I read a book" is clear. It's like knowing how to kick a ball, but not knowing the rules of football. You can play, but you won't score in a real match. You can play, but you won't score in a real match. English works the same way. You might know many words, but if you can't put them together correctly, your message will be confusing. For example, "He eat breakfast every morning." The correct sentence is, "He eats breakfast every morning." Your sentences will be confusing for the listener or reader if grammar is missing. In the IELTS test, this confusion can lead to a lower score. This is true in both the speaking section and the writing section. Good grammar shows the examiner you have a strong command of English. In the IELTS speaking test, for example, the examiner listens carefully to your sentence structures. They pay attention to your use of tenses, prepositions, and articles. Are you able to talk about the past, present, and future correctly? That's what grammar helps you do. Many students confuse grammar with fluency. They think speaking quickly means they are fluent, but that's not the whole story. Fluency is about speaking smoothly, without too many pauses or hesitations. For example, listen to this sentence. "Yesterday I go to the park and play football." The student spoke fluently, but the grammar was incorrect. Now, here is the correct version. "Yesterday I went to the park and played football." Both students spoke fluently, but only the second one used correct grammar. This is why grammar and fluency are different skills. In the IELTS speaking test, examiners listen for both. You need to speak smoothly and use correct grammar. For example, someone might say, "She eat breakfast every day." This is fluent, but not correct. The right sentence is, "She eats breakfast every day." Fluency helps you keep the conversation going, but grammar makes your meaning clear. You need both to get a high score. So when you practice for IELTS, work on speaking smoothly and using correct grammar. That's the best way to impress the examiner. Many students, no matter where they come from, make similar grammar mistakes when learning English. Let's look at the most common struggles and how to fix them. First, verb tenses. Many students mix up the past simple and present perfect. For example, someone might say, "I have seen that movie last week." This is incorrect. The correct way is, "I saw that movie last week." Remember, use the past simple for finished time in the past. Next, articles. Many languages don't use a, an, or the, so students often forget them. For example, "She is teacher" is a common mistake. The correct sentence is, "She is a teacher." Always use a or an for singular jobs or things. Prepositions are tricky too. For example, students might say, "I am good in English," but that's not right. The correct way is, "I am good at English." Prepositions often don't translate directly, so pay close attention to them. Finally, subject-verb agreement. A common mistake is, "He go to school every day." This is incorrect. The correct sentence is, He goes to school every day. The verb must match the subject. In longer sentences, it's easy to make mistakes. For example, the information on these websites are helpful is wrong. The correct form is, the information on these websites is helpful. Information is singular, so use is. By noticing these common mistakes and practicing the correct forms, you'll make your English much clearer and impress your IELTS examiner. Improving your grammar doesn't have to be overwhelming. For example, start by reviewing a short paragraph you wrote and try to spot one grammar mistake. Small steps like this can lead to big progress. Consistency is key. Set aside 10 minutes every day to practice grammar, like completing a short exercise or correcting yesterday's homework. The first step is to identify your common mistakes. For instance, if you often write, he go to school, note that the correct form is, he goes to school. You can't fix a problem if you don't know what it is. Try writing a short diary entry and ask yourself, did I use the right tense? Get feedback from a teacher on your writing. For example, submit a short essay and ask your teacher to mark grammar errors. Get feedback from a native speaker on your speaking. Try recording yourself answering a simple question, then ask a friend to listen and point out mistakes. Record yourself speaking about your day. For example, say, today I went to the market, and listen for grammar errors. Transcribe your recording. Write down what you said and check for mistakes like missing GSS in verbs. You'll be surprised at the mistakes you find when you see them written down. For example, you might notice you always forget articles like a or the. Once you know your weak areas, start targeted practice. For instance, if prepositions are hard, do 5 sentences using in, on, and at. Don't try to learn every grammar rule at once. Focus on 1 or 2 rules like practicing the present perfect. I have finished my homework. If you struggle with the present perfect, spend a week making sentences like, I have eaten breakfast or she has visited London. Reading and listening help you internalize grammar. For example, read a news article and underline every verb tense you find. Expose yourself to authentic English. Watch a short video clip and repeat a few sentences out loud, copying the grammar. Your brain absorbs correct sentence patterns and structures. For example, after hearing, she has gone to school many times, you'll remember the correct form. You'll start to develop a feel for what sounds right. For example, you'll notice, he go to school sounds wrong, but he goes to school sounds right. Make practice a daily habit. For example, write 1 sentence every morning using a new grammar rule. You don't need hours, just 15 to 20 minutes is enough. For example, set a timer and do a quick grammar quiz. The key is consistency. Mark your calendar every day you practice, and reward yourself for sticking to your plan. Step by step, you'll build grammar skills and the confidence to succeed in the IELTS exam. Remember, every small effort adds up.